Have you ever met someone new in English? It can definitely be stressful and awkward, especially when speaking in a foreign language. Under such circumstances, it's easy to think that you can just translate the normal questions you would ask in Korean. But you can't ignore the relationship between culture and language, and especially in this case, social context. For the most part, there aren't too many differences, but there are certain small things that can make a big difference. Unfortunately, most classes only teach such things on the first day of class, when people rarely ask questions and are just warming up to speak in English. So today, we'll go over some questions that are acceptable and more natural ways to ask them, and some questions you should avoid when meeting someone new. To assist me in explaining, I'll call out my helpers, Student A and Student B. So how should we start? A textbook conversation might start like this. Hi, what's your name? Of course, it's natural to start with names, but it's common sense that you should share your own name first, and usually the other person will share theirs in turn. Hi, my name's Student A. This is a little stiff and uncommon. It's more common to say, Hi, I'm Student A. If you prefer to be called something other than your formal name, you can use this. You can just call me Stu. In Korea, after you get someone's name, what's the next question that is usually asked? How old are you? Right? Of course, it's somewhat necessary to ask this in Korea so that you know what kind of language you should use with the person you're talking to. But in English, please try to avoid asking this question without good reason. In many cultures, age doesn't matter so much in social interactions, and asking the question can seem strange or even rude, especially to someone who is sensitive about their age. Where are you from? This is not a common question and has an implied meaning. The implication here is that you're not a local. For example, Americans might hear this from other Americans in Hawaii, where many people come from all over the country, and it means which state or which city are you from. In a situation where there are people from many different countries, like when you're traveling, it means which country are you from. I've heard this question a lot since I was young, and never liked hearing it. That's because, while I'm American, born and raised, the implication was that I wasn't American. What's your job? This is grammatically correct, but it's direct and a little unnatural. As I've mentioned in another video, usually when we ask what someone does, we ask, What do you do for a living? What are your hobbies? You might hear this question in a job interview, but a more natural question is this. What do you usually do in your free time? Because of course, most people with hobbies engage in them during their free time. If you find something in common, the easiest follow-up questions are these. What's your favorite game? Or, what kind of games do you like? Over the years, I've been asked some strange questions about family, like, what does your father do? Or, how many members are there in your family? When asking about family, it's typically good to avoid asking about parents. That's because family relations can get very complicated, with divorce and remarriage and single parents. The safest question is to ask about siblings. Do you have any brothers or sisters? This way, even if they have step or half siblings, they can choose what to share without explaining too much. Here are a couple more questions that can be strange to ask when meeting someone new. Are you married? This can be okay to ask, depending on the situation. But first of all, if you ask this question, the hearer might think that you have an ulterior motive. However, it's just not necessary to ask this question. Why? Because you can just look at the ring finger of their left hand. While married couples wear wedding rings in Korea as well, I've heard it's not expected to wear them all the time. In the US, if you're married, it's expected that you always wear your wedding ring. If you take it off, it could mean that you're trying to hide that you're married for some reason. What's your blood type? I know people don't ask this question that much anymore, but I still hear it once in a while. Please don't ask this question. Blood type theory never really gained popularity outside of Asia. So if someone has never heard of the theory that your blood type affects your personality, what would they think if they were asked this question? A person's blood type is private medical information, and they could possibly think that you're plotting something sinister. Of course, these are not the only questions that you can or can't ask when meeting someone new. Usually, you should just go with the flow, and if the other person seems confused, try asking your question in a different way. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and I'll try to answer them when I have time.